Welcome to the house, my friend.
Thank you, Seth.
And you and I just enjoyed an awesome couple of days together at a retreat where you were sharing a vision for, I think, a really beautiful future that you see in the world. And I don't know, which of our clients or friends are going to get to kind of hear this, but I would just love to get your voice out into more of the world than it is,
awesome.
Right?
Thank you.
And I wonder if you could sketch out. We're in residential real estate, and so part of our vision is helping families find the home that they love. But I think you take that to like this next level. And we were talking last night, so imagine we go into a neighborhood, and if that neighborhood has the thumbprint of your company on it, right? The food forest. What might we see as we kind of as we go into a neighborhood in suburban USA?
Well, first thing you'll notice is more life. Butterflies and birds and energy. You'll actually be able to feel it if you're connected. When you're connected, you can go into a system that's living like this, and you just notice a smile on your face. They've actually studied this. Just the act of looking at a forest or a flower increases your health. That's science. So imagine when you design it where it's hyper functional. So not only the ornamentals, in fact, they are ornamentals, but they also have another function. And the function is producing food and edibles. And things that you can eat and things that create smells at certain times of year. Things that attract the butterflies and the birds and the bees.
And I'm such a novice at this. Such a novice, right? But when you walk around our house with us and you kind of point out, guys, you have this, the size of where you could park a car, 8 feet by 15 feet or 4 feet by 20 feet, and you're like, you don't know how much life you could bring into this little space. And I think that's probably the awareness, right? Is that there's not a family that's watching this that doesn't have, unless they're in a high-rise condo, right? They've got space to do more than they realize. And maybe you can help us understand what you call the stacking effect in permaculture, and what could you do in literally a space, double the size of this table? What is actually possible there?
So let's say double the size of this table, let's say this way and the same length, you could have 3 fruit trees and 3 or 4 berry bushes. You could have herbs and ground cover that's edible and creates nitrogen and actually heals the soil. You could, over time, once the fruit trees get a little bigger, you could put vines in the ground that go up the fruit trees. And we create what's called guilds, which are communities of plants.
So let's slow this down for a second, because I always thought you put a tree, right? And then the way I hear you describe it, it's like in the same square foot, you're putting multiple things. It's like tall things down to short, and literally stacking them. And you actually used the description the other day of the Amazon rainforest. Right? You explained that was.
It was a designed food forest 5,000 years ago.
Wow.
The people, the Incas, the Mayans, the people that lived in the area, Central and South America, designed it. Archaeologists have looked with their LiDAR and they found the roads. They found the different agricultural systems. And then when the people leave, this is how nature works. When you create a system that actually mimics natural systems like that, then you can create hyper functionality that's designed for humans. So you can walk into an area like that and there's literally food growing everywhere.
Yeah. So going back to suburban backyard, right? A space double the size of this area here, 3 fruit trees, right? So those are taller, and then you're planting stuff in the same ground space. Roots, potatoes,
sweet potatoes, yucca, taquis, taro, so many different things.
And then layers above that. What was it? You said herbs. What would be kind of the next layer?
So an herbaceous layer, and then you've got the shorter shrubs and bushes, a little taller, like berries. Who doesn't like berries? So you could have 3 or 4, do you like raspberries and blueberries and blackberries and boysenberries and elderberries?
I feel like we could describe everything as condiments for great cocktails, but that's probably not the right approach here.
It is. Why isn't it?
Yeah,
right?
You've got mint. We do have mint. We do have mint. And he's going to do lime, so there we go. We're ready for the mojito train.
Exactly.
But it's really interesting that when we think about just even in the last few years, got into doing a lot of indoor gardening. Like people are starting, like the interest, you can see that it's there right now, and our minds haven't been expanded to think, well, but I only live on a fifth of an acre, or I only live on this little space, so I'll take it inside. But I think what you're showing us is, even if you live on that fifth of an acre, there's still more than enough room to like have the real stuff outside.
Exactly. So my partner, Dr. Ian Scott, in Orlando, and by the way, another partner in Minnesota has even more, 300 varieties. He, on a tenth of an acre, has in Florida has 63 different varieties of edible medicinal plants.
Wow.
Right? So I mean, that's a lot of different varieties. How many different varieties do you have in your fridge right now? Like, you think about it, probably not 63, right? Probably 10 or 15.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, and well, speaking of in the fridge, we were talking about spinach, right? We would normally be going to Costco to buy spinach, right?
Yeah.
And then you mentioned that's one of these layers, and you're like, you have no idea the quality of. And what did you say about the amount of the loss of nutrients?
Yes, certain types of spinach, they lose 94% of their ascorbic acid, their value in certain ways within 24 hours of being picked. If you find them at Whole Foods, they've been picked probably a week, 11 days before you even see them. Right? In most cases, with most fruits. So you're gonna have way more nutrient density, way more taste. We've got one of my favorite plants, I've got a million, but there's one longevity spinach. I planted this in the forest floor, and it's just going all over the place. And it's called the plant of a million cures. Why? Because it's the plant of a million cures. And you just walk out, and it tastes better than lettuce. It's infinitely healthier than lettuce, and you just pick it anytime you want. You put it right on your plate. Yeah, I like French and ranch, like, right? I put some nice organic dressing on there, and I've got a salad that just cost me nothing. And it's incredibly healthy.
Jim, where can people learn more about this, either conceptually, and where can they learn more about what your organization is doing in the world? And by the way, you could be somebody that hears this and you're like, all I know is I've got a quarter of an acre, I want some of this in my house, in which case I'm guessing somehow reach out to you, but then you would connect them with a local co-op, a fancy phrase for landscaping company that could help bring the vision that your organization creates, right, the blueprint, into reality.
That's exactly.
Where would they find you online, or what's the best way to reach you?
So everything starts with the design process. First we like to inspire, which is, thank you for this video and this shout out. So we like to inspire the first step, and then the next step would be to check out our website at foodforestabundance.com.
Yeah.
So Food Forest Abundance, and then look at the designs. There's a bunch of designs on our website right now, and see what's possible. Then the next step, if you're interested, is get a hold of us. You can purchase a design blueprint, or you could just call me, and I could share with you all the different possibilities. Then one of our designers will reach out, and they'll work with every individual customer to create a custom design that suits the zone of the customer. We're doing residents in Poland, mountaintops in California, resorts in Thailand, all over the world.
Yeah.
And so anywhere you are, you can have a blueprint designed for your needs.
It's amazing.
And obviously, there's no infomercial needed here. There's a couple things that I want to point out. One, abundance, food forest abundance. I think we all feel it in your energy.
Yeah.
First off, and I want to honor you for that. There is something about, we have a couple trees on this property. There's some berries, and there is something about walking out and picking berries from your own property, right? There's something about that feels, it feels freeing, it feels life-giving, it feels like maybe it's a little bit about the way the world was designed to work.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of, in a world full of scarcity and supply chain issues and all of the negative energy that creates, there's something really amazing about being able to walk into your backyard and take something that honestly you did nothing to create. It is the wind and the rain. It is the sunshine. In my mind, it is God doing a work in your life, and that's amazing. There's two other things that I heard you say. I just want to make sure people get. in the last couple of days, you taught us this principle of the stacking effect. And of course, you're applying it to growing things in a garden. I just want to bring out the application of life, right? So we literally talked about the stacking effect today. Alice and I went for a walk, right? So we went for a walk in a nearby trail, and we spent the time getting physical exercise and connecting as a couple.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's the stacking effect, right? It's like taking the same space, the same time, and doing two things with it, right? I mean, last night, like you got the chance to enjoy staying here, and we had a great time with our family, with you, and that was the stacking effect, right? Because I think you were encouraged, and they were encouraged, right? I mean, that's relationships are a stacking effect. And then the second thing you said was the part of permaculture is this concept that out of the problem is the solution.
Yes.
Now dumb that down for me in when it comes to like leaves dropping become the nutrients, right?
Yes, so we've been taught over time to do things that are not natural, and they actually take away from the function and the beauty of our world, and they create the dis-ease and disease of our society. One of my heroes and teachers, Jeff Lawton, said all the world's problems can be solved in a garden. Right? Now, that is so true that it's been demonstrated all over the world, and we're talking about reversing mass extinction and deforestation and world hunger and cancer and diabetes and heart disease and sadness and depression. All of these things can be changed when you walk into and feel the resonance of this kind of energy.
Yeah. So my last word, we'll let you guys sound off, is out of the problem comes the solution, and I think that's a truth I need to hear in life these days, right? Because it's so easy for us to see the problems, and in a way you see these seasons of life, you see fall, you see winter, you see things dying, and it's neat to see that a life cycle is actually what dies brings new life. And that could be mentally, that could be physically, that could be in your physical garden, it could be in the garden of your mind and of your life. So, Alice, any last words, and we'll let Jim have the final say.
I think about just kind of the season of COVID and people like coming more back into their homes and wanting to make it, to breathe new life into it. And it's not just inside the home, it's what can we do outside of it. And just as you've been talking, it's like, 63 different types of whatever, and it's like, wow, how small our worlds have been to only experience one or two types of something, and there are whole worlds to be explored, and we can explore them without ever leaving our home. And so thank you for that gift that you're bringing to us and to everyone that's able to experience what you do.
You're so welcome, thank you, and it's been such a pleasure meeting you and your amazing family. Thank you for having me here.
So everybody, Jim Gale, foodforestabundance.com. There we go. All right, take care.